Hello. How's it going, y'all? What's up? Hello. Happy Friday. What is going on? How are y'all doing? Today, I'm doing all right. It's Friday. It's a good day. Already a good day. So today we are going to be hopping into the wonderful world of composable architecture again and working with those API calls. If you joined last time, what did we have going on? Last time I was able to post to the database, like make a project from the form, like from the Mac app, and be able to call that back down. Now we need to be able to call all the projects down. So like if we wanted to present like a list of projects. So that's what we're going to do today. And then we're going to implement some testing. I know like usually people are like, oh, I don't test, it's your side project. But like that's the whole point. That's part of the whole point of the composable architecture, is to be able to really easily pull in testing. So that's what we're going to do. And now we're going to figure out why my server is being weird and not wanting to post. I'm guessing it's something with like Docker not running. Hopefully that's it. But I also had issues earlier with Firebase, so let's hope this is it. I'm pretty sure this is it. This is what it was. Yeah, so here we are. Let's try it. Try running this. Cool. And we were able to create a project. So it creates a project. This one is going to, I think, fetch all our projects, I would hope. Yeah, so there's lots of projects to fetch. Apparently there's like 20 in the database. Let's open up the table plus real quick and make sure that I can do these, that I'm actually like reading this right. So it probably just from all the tests that I've added here. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So like I said, we were able to write to the database. Now we need to recall, and then we'll also implement some testing. We're not gonna like display, sorry. I don't think right now we're gonna display the projects probably in this stream, because I haven't really touched testing in the composable architecture before, but so that's just something that I have to play with and we have to figure out on stream together. So feel free, drop any questions in the chat if you have any, and let's hop into this ride. Let's go. So we're gonna hide basically all of these things because they're not necessary. As per usual, you can find all of these, you can find all of these on my Notion page. So if you're ever looking to figure out like what's next, what's being worked on, maybe where the code is for this project, it is all inside this Notion page here. And this Notion page can be found from this link that I just dropped in the chat, or it should be dropping in the chat soon, I hope. Yeah. I think it went through. I don't know. Sometimes Stream Deck is weird at the delay. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. That's where you can find it. You know, always keep track, ask questions. It has links to the GitHub repos, stuff like that. So first off, let's figure out what we're going to do here. All right, so we need to be able to fetch all the projects basically when it appears. So we're using a Vapor. I'm using a Vapor backend here. There's no like persistence. Right now it all comes like you currently need to be connected to the internet for all this to work, is probably the case right now. At some point I'll look into adding some kind of persistence, but right now that doesn't matter. That's like the last thing on my mind, or should be the last thing on my mind at least. So let's see here. So we have these API clients, we have API live. So this adds a new project. So I feel like I need one that like gets a project. So inside API client, we're going to add in a new public var. And then it'll say fetch all projects. Async, because we're going to use asynchronous. We try to keep everything async instead of using like completion handlers and stuff. Let's use async code because that's the way forward, right? And it's going to return an array of projects. Cool. And so now we'll get another error saying that, hey, API client live doesn't work. We're going to actually rename this as well. because I like things to be named like this. Weird. Okay. Let's do a, oh, probably because it's missing the fetch all projects. So let's add this. And let's just do, it should just be able to be, boom. Let's just do this real quick. Create an empty array. Cannot find project in scope. That makes sense. So we need to figure out the whip kit. So work in public kit needs to be imported here. So the whip kit kind of holds all of our models. So you can see here on the left, there's models, project status to do invisibility here. And now it should build. And I wonder if now I can rename it. Because I would like it to go back. But no, now it's going to say, no, you can't do that. If I rename it in Finder, well, there we go. We'll just keep it the same. Okay, so now it just returns an empty array of projects here in the client. So we need to actually go into the API manager, which arguably could all handle inside this live, whatever I'm doing inside this manager. I'm almost positive that's how it's supposed to work, actually. Instead of having like a manager file, like I just do it all inside this like live extension. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. So let's actually fix this a bit. Yeah, because that was the wrong thing. So I am working in the trying to use the dependencies library by point free. We're doing a lot of point free stuff in here. I'm doing a lot of point free stuff. So we're just gonna, yeah, because this API manager isn't necessary when you have an API client. I was just like extracting for no reason whatsoever here. So let's do a let base URL, whoops, equal. And right now, this is the case here. At some point, it'll be the like production URL. But right now, this is just the case because we're not in because we don't have a production value. And then we should be able to put all of these inside like this inside here instead, these functions. So like I should be able to grab this, copy it out, add new project takes in a project, right? And let's go back into API client over here, just doing a little refactoring before starting. It's already asynchronous and it throws, so we should be able to literally do something like this, return try response. I think this is it. Is that all I needed to do? Because if so, that was way easier than I thought. I'm almost positive that's what I needed. So we'll just run it through and do a manual test real quick. Yeah, I actually took it away even. Cool, build was successful. Let's get rid of this API manager because I don't think it's necessary anymore. And let's run it and see what happens. Add a project. And then where did... Actually, we just need the other. So what we'll pay attention to is when I'm running right here, where we have these posts and these gets inside this console here. We'll go ahead and pay attention to that. So project name, project description, IDK. This is test. Add. So it looks like it posted the project. Let's go into here, refresh. Here it goes. Project name. This is a test. At some point, we'll add in like, we'll have to add in more like created at, modified at, like those wonderful little columns to this table. But check that out. That's great. So it is being used. So we are able to like write it in and it dismisses. And in theory, after it dismisses, we'll populate this projects list over here and get all of that done. But this totally works. So we don't even need the API manager I worked on last week. Oh, I should have, let's also do this real quick. Let's start working how I want to work inside branches. So get stash, get checkout, dash B, feature. What should this be called? It's gonna be a feature, feature of show all projects. And then we can do a get stash pop. Cool. Now we can do a get add. And then a CCC, a refactor. Hold on. Nope, we can't add everything yet. Can we just delete that? Move to trash. There we go. I know we don't quite get there yet. Hold on. We are all kinds of upset right now. Nope, that should literally do it. Why does it not conform? Okay. And then let's uncomment what got commented, right? I don't know why it says there's an extra comment. There totally is not an extra argument. Like it's here, there's that argument. All right, well, I'm sure it's fine. So let's add this now. Get commit. Let's do a refactor. Used a dependencies. Model dependencies, right? Dependency correctly. Cool. And then let's push this up. Great. And should be here on the GitHub repo. Awesome. We don't need to open a pull request right now. Like there's nothing to really do with the pull request. So that's great. I know my main branch isn't protected. We'll figure that out in a minute later. Yeah. So awesome. So this is open source. If you wanted to go check out the repos, you can. I'm not really accepting contributions right now just because like I am still building it, and to accept contributions, I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it. Like kind of knowing what the whole app's going to look like, stuff like that. Also making sure the back end is written to the full extent and it's just not there. So this is kind of where it's at. But you can definitely go look at the code. It's all SwiftUI. It's all Swift. We're trying to use the best practices from the composable architecture. So yeah, that is a thing. That's what's going on there. All right, so let's work on this fetch all projects. So basically we're going to do the same thing. So let request equals af dot request base URL plus API endpoints dot projects comma method dot we want to get because we want to do the get. And I think that's really all we need. Let data task equals request dot serializing decodable of a project dot self. Is that right? We're gonna see. And I think this is what we really need. This might not be right. Because that's supposed to go get one. So what if it's not? It's an array of project. I don't actually know what's going to be returned with this. That's fine for right now. I don't have anything that calls it. Yeah. So let's go figure out how to call this. So under app view, we probably need like a dot on up here inside app view. I would think that would call on the view store. So inside app core here, there's like a dot. I already have an action for on appear as it normally has one. So basically just when this list when this Z stack is appeared, you know, it has a sheet already attached to it. Let's figure this out. Control I. On appear. Actually, this would be a great case for a task because it's an async thing. I mean, I guess not. It doesn't matter actually because we're going through the composable architecture, so it really doesn't matter. View store dot send dot on appear. Cool. So this should run whenever on appear runs. So let's just do a print hello. And just to make sure hello is going to be printed. There it is. Right there. Sweet. So with on appear, we have to do a little bit of a weird thing here. And no, I mean, it's not really that weird. It's just how it works in the composable architecture. So if we go into new project core, we'll see we have these options for like the create project response. That's basically what we need here. It's going to be a case for a case request object. I mean get project response, and it's going to take in a task result of a array of projects. I think if this is all going to work, this is what it should be. Cannot find project and scope. Let's import WebKit. Great. Must be exhaustive. So how does this exactly work here? So we need to return a task that will grab await dot get project result, and we want to do a task result of try await API client dot what was it? It was like fetch all products, get all products. What it's called? Fetch all projects. Whoops. Copy here. Fetch all projects. And is that right? Is that it? Is that all I need to do? I think so. What's wrong? Cannot find API client in scope. That's right. So let's import API client or API. And then we need the dependency at API client. And now we're still missing. So all we did here was say when we appear, we're going to run this task that gets the project response that in turn runs the API client task. From what I understand, this is what's supposed to happen. So now we need a new case. That's like case dot, we could even do this. Case let dot, whoops, that would be, hold on, I'm doing something wrong here. Create project response, create, yeah, so it'd be caselet dot create, get project response dot success, I believe. Yeah. And this is just gonna be I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Project. Print projects. Return dot none. Immutable value. Nope. Okay, cool. And then we're going to do the same thing. So case let dot get project response dot failure error print error return dot none. That should cover all our bases now. So let's move these a little bit higher up also. Control X. That way they're just around what's being done right now. So we have the case, it calls the get response, which is the task result of fetch all our projects, which is inside our API client here. If we go to API client live, we'll know that we're going to return a result of either success or failure, basically. And if it's successful, we should return this array project. And if it's a failure, then we just throw an error, which is, we're just throwing literally an error. Replace. So let's see what happens. Ooh, something is not happy. Oh no, everything worked. Check this out. I'm just not used to a lot of text, meaning like everything is happy. We have a project with an ID, with a title, a description, a status. So that's super cool. Awesome. So it all prints, it works perfectly. It does what I think it's supposed to do. I don't know why the ID is optional. I don't think it's probably optional for encoding reasons, but it will always have one. It's one of those weird things that I hate trying to figure out how it works. But it looks like we are successfully sending and receiving from our API. So we can delete that and clean that up. So let's get add dot. So CCC. CCC is conventional commits, and it just brings up create conventional commit. It's a plugin to Fig, I guess, that lets me just write conventional commits messages pretty easily. Fetches all projects. Yeah, what's the idea behind a live value? Is that to separate environments? Yes, it is, exactly. So part of the dependencies inside Point Free, which if I can get to their actual stuff here. Also, hello, Matt. Welcome in. Swift dependencies. How it works is you have different different environments. So there's a live, a preview, and a test environment. Each one is used in those appropriate moments. So the live is used whenever you're running like the app normally. The preview would be used in like preview values, and the test would be used for like mocking or like different type of test situations. So yeah, and it just the library itself will scope it out for you, which is kind of cool, I believe, from what I've understood. So you have live, your test, and your preview value. And this allows you to, again, just like test with what you need to test with. And if you want to use a different dependency, you can do that here. Yeah, not like debug versus like live, more of like live versus preview versus testing. It's just built into the library at this point. I do like the idea. So like at some point it would make sense to have an idea of like a debug value as well versus like a live value. So once this goes live, it would make sense to have like a debug versus a live value here. So that's like something I think you can kind of create your own dependency values in here. I would think maybe not dependency values, dependency key. Is that what I'm looking for? Nope. I'm sure you could create your own like, whatever they want to call this value, I guess. I guess it would be a value. The associated type representing the type of dependency key's value. Dependency key value, I guess. I don't see why you can't. Because that would also be really good to have, like be able to pass in through different implementations to guard against like production server versus live server, stuff like that. At work, I actually introduced this. We didn't have this pattern for like testing. We didn't really have a pattern for testing because we're so new. Instead of doing like a protocol pattern, I did something similar to like the dependency pattern here. The 0.3 guys, it made more sense in my mind to do something like this than the protocols did. I think that's just like a lack of experience thing. They went through how to design dependencies and how to create test dependencies even without using their dependency library. So like this is pre their dependency library and not using the composable architecture. And so I took this approach of having to do they do the modularization thing, but of having a live implementation versus like a mock implementation. It's a really neat idea around it to just use structs in this point and use structs with like your static variables on top of it basically. And I don't know, I like it a lot. Highly recommend. Like if y'all have point-free subscriptions. If you don't, also a highly recommend point-free subscription. Luckily enough, work kind of paid for mine, so that was like really nice for them to take it over. But yeah. And they do a bunch of videos like not pertaining to TCA or not pertaining to their own libraries. So I would definitely like look into their stuff just for like how some people do stuff. I'm open to like looking and learning from other areas also. I just like how concise, and I really like vibe with their videos a lot. I guess you could just add in another like value. Like you could just do another extension on here. Like that's basically all this is another extension. Ideas. At some point, we'll see. If I ever get, number one, I do want to release this, but number two, if I ever get to a point where I need to like separate the products, like the production database, like that would be a really good thing to test out then. Cool. So we have these, we can grab them. I really want to do like testing with them also though, because part of using TCA is the testing infrastructure in TCA is pretty good. So let's work on that. That's part of what I wanted to do here. So each library here can have its own testing area, I believe is how this is supposed to go. So we'll do a new folder here. We're first going to test the app core. And a unit test case class. App core tests. Right? Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go add a test for app core. So I believe, oh, maybe. Okay, so it looks like I probably don't need to define its own test target up here. I just go and make a test target here. not really made test targets before here, but that would make sense also. Like there's no test target inside here. Yeah, so what we'll do is, where is app core? Oh, this should be app core tests, not just app core. And then I'm guessing I needed to find a dependency on it. Yep. And because app core already has the dependencies that I need, which is like composable architecture and anything else in it, like new project core, like I don't need to define those again because I can just import from the app core. That makes sense to me. I hope that's right. All right, let's go see what we're supposed to do for testing wise in the composable architecture. Again, we're learning and we're flowing all at the same time together. So I've never done this with the composable architecture before, so let's just try things. So state changes are by far the simplest things to test and features built with the library. A reducer's first responsibility is to mutate the current state based on the action received into the system. To test this, we can technically run a piece of mutable state through the reducer and then assert how it's changed afterwards. Well, that seems like a super easy way to test this. Grab this down. So it looks like, oh, they've already built in like a test store function. Cool. So let's import also the composable architecture here, I'm guessing. And they said to put the main actor here. And I was reading about this like in like some Slacks that I'm in, and we want to put that main actor here just to verify that everything is actually running on the main thread and on the main actor. Apparently there's some cases that can come by that don't do that very well. I mean, that will cause issues. What are we testing though? What do we want to test first? We want to do something simple in app core probably to test. I don't want to start with the .on appear because that has like networking involved. Let's do the .add project. So case add project button tapped, I think. And I guess we want it to be async. I don't quite know. The library comes with a tool specifically for the test stores. Test cases that use test store should be annotated as @main_actor, and the test method should be marked as async. Most assertion helpers on test store can suspend. Gotcha. So now we'll say let store equals test store, and it has the initial state and reducer. So the initial state here, so we'll do app core dot state, and the reducer is app core. Okay. Then it looks like I can type in await store dot send dot add project button tapped, and then we can verify bling 0 dot new project state equals true. Oh, not, oh. Hold on, maybe I should read more. But then you must also provide a trailer. You provide an action to send into the system. Describe how the state of the feature changed after sending the action. So the closure is handed a mutable variable that represents the state of the feature before sending the action, and it's your job to make the appropriate mutations to get it into the shape it should be after sending the action. Oh, because new project state. Okay, so this should actually be link show add project form equals true. So now if I run this test, yeah. Cool, so it succeeded. I guess that's right. Looks right. False. Oh, hey, it's wrong. Oh, that's a super neat, like, way to show what exactly happened here. That's cool. So it expected this, but what it got was this. That is super cool. Also, like, the fact that this pops up like this annotation, like, super, like, useful. I'm gonna screenshot this real quick. I actually really like pulling, let's put in some padding here and round my corners. Because I am a bougie person and like my screenshots to be bougie. Cool. Okay, so that's super cool. So let's keep that as true. And in theory, like which also means that when we do this, not only is this true, but new project state. Let's just make sure this is right. Oh, we just do add show form. Great. So that is right. So now if we boost this power. Cool. And that succeeded. Sweet. That was super easy to add that test to. We haven't gotten into anything like the case.onAppear, but that seemed like an easy way to actually write tests. And also that little pop-up that came up, super nice. Let's actually add let's get this added. Git add, CCC, tests, add project button. I guess it should be add project action, not really add project button action. Because right, like in SwiftUI, you don't really test the view states like to pass through and make sure, especially when you're using something like the composable architecture, or if you really dive into the MVVM architecture, like there's really no logic inside your views. Your logic is inside whatever associated like file it has. So this is kind of what happens here. Cool. That is pretty darn neat. And I really like that idea. All right, so I don't know if we're going to keep up with testing. I would like to keep up with testing in this app, but we'll see how this goes. We might have to like pause and stuff with it, just depending on how far I want to test with it. But I feel like with an open source app, it's even more important. Like once I do, especially open it up to people to contribute to more. Test on Appear async. Okay, so now this is kind of where we get into a little bit more of a tricky situation with our on appears. So with this test on Appear async, we want to still grab the same store. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry, that was really hurting my head. All right, so in the initial state here, we still need the appcore.state. Reducer is going to be appcore. And we don't really need to observe anything like special, like we don't need a scope state or anything like that. So that looks great. I need to do that though. Cool. And we want to do await store dot send dot on appear. Okay, so this is kind of like going hand in hand, I guess, because we don't really have projects to compare it to yet. So let's make that. So I guess this is more of like a test-driven development style video right now, because we know when it on appears, we want to have a first off, let's do an easy part. We need to store the project somewhere if we're successful. So let's have a public var projects. And then we'll do a self.projects equals projects. Cool. All right, and then inside the on appear, so in the success, we just want to do state.projects equals projects. Right. And then there should also be a get project response. So when there's an error, what do I kind of want to do here? How do we want to handle the error? I think we'll just do a public var error. Well, I guess we'll just have it be an error. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. We'll figure it out. I think I'm not, we'll call it an API error. There we go. And error, API error equals nil to start out with, because like we should really never start with an error. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, because that sure is not. And let's just rename this real quick. We'll be specific and call it an API error. I don't know if that's specifically what we're going to call it here, but that's something. And then instead of printing the error, state.error, API error equals error. I still don't think that's going to end up being right as API error. I don't think this is like the greatest thing to do. Cool. That should be fine, because then if it doesn't, it'll be nil. But we should probably still just print just in case, so that where? Oh, the rocket. Where's my emojis? Error. Get project response. So I really like emojis for just because it'll make it pop out more inside my console as to like where the error happened, like what happened. All right, so we know we have this. We get the state. We call dot on appear. Ling 0 dot show add projects equals. We're just gonna leave it at that for right now, because if I run this, we'll have another error come in, but we don't have our dependency in here. So we don't have an implementation yet on what this is supposed to look like in this context. So, man. Override API client with a test value. If you are using the composable architecture, mutate the dependencies property on your test store. Otherwise, use with dependencies to define the scope of my override. If you'd like to provide a default value for all tests, implement a test value requirement on the dependency key. Well, that sounds super easy. So if I go into here, I go into API. Let's go in. So we have this API client. We have API client live. Let's make an API client test value. Test. So Swift file API client test. Extension API client static let test value. Boom. So we need to return a self definitely, and we need to return both of these things, right? Whoops. We're not really going to pass anything in right now. Like, this is just going to be like a really happy, like, test client, like, test value. It's going to just always be successful. So no need to add a project. We're going to return a project. Let's import the kit. This is the only downside with all the modularization is you have to always remember to import all your pieces, but it's fine. Test project. And I guess it needs an ID, a UUID. Can I... I think we can do this. Import dependencies. Dependency. UUID dot. We're gonna have to go look at how to do this because I want to make sure I'm using the right thing. And we already have a title in. So that should be everything I need for this test project, but how does the UUID work? Self.UUID. So we have a controllable UUID creation, which is what we want to make sure that we're always testing with the same value because you should know what's inside your tests. Did I get my stand goal? Sorry, I have to make sure I get my stand goals all throughout this week. Oh, so we can override any dependencies that your feature uses in this case. So what even does that, what does the dot incrementing do? Let's go look up what the UUID generator does. So self.UUID. Oh, but how would I use this inside another dependency then? I guess if I know. Oh, there's a dot constant that always returns the given for incrementing for the count up from there. Nope. I think this is gonna work. Cannot convert value of type. Oh, I bet I could do dot incrementing. Because what? It's UUID and then the that doesn't seem right. I guess I would just need to pass in a specific UUID. What is wrong now? What do I keep doing? Oh, did I have too many? Probably. Cool. And then we just want to fetch. So this adds a new project. And remember, when we add a new project, we return a project. So that's why we're returning here. And then for fetch all projects, it's going to be almost the same thing. Return. We're just going to grab this. I should, in theory, create mocks on the projects. That way we know that the mock is equal to the mock, I guess. But this will be fine for now. I think this is what's supposed to happen. I might have to go back and rewatch these videos. But an API client test now. Oh, nope. App core tests. We can dot on appear. It's going to equal. Well, let's hold on. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. Actually, before I like assume what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so the trailing closure made no observable modifications to state. If no change to state is expected, omit the trailing closure. Test on appear. We should have one project. For some reason, I know that this is what's supposed to happen. I just don't feel like this is completely right. But like, I do know that this is like how your testing is supposed to go. Like you say what's supposed to happen. WebKit. And you give it an expected like case. It just feels weird that the expected case is the right thing, is the same thing. What did it not do? A state change does not match the expectation. So what did it receive? Oh, action, unhandled actions, dot get response. Hold on. This might be weird. And this is being a little weird to me. So, new project state, that doesn't matter. False, right? The store received one expected action after this one. Oh, because it didn't do the following action? So how are you supposed to do that? So technically, this is like chaining actions inside this app core for the on appear because it returns a .task. And then you go and get the success. But I didn't do something right. Testing effects. That's it. We need to test effects because this is technically an effect since it deals with the outside world. So, as a sample example, with the basics set up, we can send an action into the system to assert on what happens, such as the .start timer button tapped. This time we don't actually expect state to change at first because we're starting a timer. We don't change state. So in this, we can leave off the trailing closure. Okay. Oh, I think this is happening because test store requires you. So if I hit play again, like run the test again, the store received 1 but didn't do it. Store.receive. So we're supposed to wait. Oh, and then I can say got success with a project, I think. So let's grab the project here. Yeah, this would be totally simpler if I just had like a project.mock to grab. We'll do that in a sec. Okay. And now we can say, I think I might have too many parentheses in here, so we'll figure it out. This part. Ah, and it succeeded. Okay. So I think this makes sense. So let's grab this. I just want to make this like look a little bit better. Rather than, but it's not going to look the best, but it will look a smidgen better. Maybe not. Maybe it does not. It's just not going to look better. Why do I not live stream on Twitch? Because I wanted this to be a series. And to me, series make a lot more sense on YouTube. So that's the only reason. I do usually stream on Twitch. I streamed last night on Twitch. I just wanted to do something different on YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel, and it's kind of going to waste if I don't actually do things on YouTube. So here we are, trying new things. But yeah, so I usually do stream on Twitch, or I also stream on Twitch. So feel free to, the same name on Twitch, feel free to follow me over there. And I go live there once a week also. Just trying to put things out in different places. Also, the discoverability on YouTube is a bit better. So yeah, like in the long run, like after I go live, at least, like after I end the stream, if you were to go search like API dependency, it'd be, these videos would live longer than they do on YouTube. So yeah, but cool. So that tests the on appear properly. It doesn't test the on appear if there is an actual error like happening. So let's try that now. So func test on appear error. Test on appear success. Cool. Let's just grab this part here. So I would guess that I could like have this be a setup thing, like in my setup with error and my teardown with error, since I'm resetting the store like every single time, right? So like I could do a like var test store here, and it would be a test store. So then you could do a test store equals, what did I just grab? This, right? And then by putting this exclamation mark here, we can do a test store equals nil. That way it gets set up and broken down literally every single time. And now instead of all these stores, we could just do test store dot send here. I think that should still, or not, that's fine. I guess not. All right, that's fine. I can repeating for now. I don't want to deal with what those errors are. Cool. So we're going to basically do the same thing. So we'll do an await store.send. And we'll do the on appear. This time we'll do a we do need to change the model though, because we don't want to use the test client here. We want to say when a fetch all projects, we want to just return the error this time. So there should be a way to do this. Let's see. Let's see. So what is their non-exhaustive testing? The previous sections describe in detail how to write tests in the composable architecture, exhaustively prove the entire feature evolves over time. You must assert on how every piece of state changes. However, every effect feeds data back into the system, and you must even make sure all the effects complete before the test store is deallocated. It can be powerful, but a nuisance, so there you might want to test in non-exhaustive style. Interesting. Oh. Okay. Well, we'll think about that. Let's go into the dependencies library though. And testing. So, it is possible to completely alter the execution context in which a feature's logic runs. So it looks like I could probably do test store. So hold on. Changing the dependencies during tests, testing gotchas. But how would I? Oh, so we can just do a dot dependency here. Overriding dependencies. It's possible to change the dependencies for just one particular reducer inside a larger composed reducer. This can be handy when running a feature in a more controlled environment. So I think I could do something store dot dependencies. What am I doing here? Where did that come from? That came from API kit. I mean API. Should probably have that be something else, but API error initializers do use Let's try again. Cannot convert closure to result. Oh, it should be throw, right? This is going to be upset, I think. Almost positive. Yep. So not handled. So let's do an await store dot receive dot failure API error. I think that's, and then state dot error. I mean, sorry, that shouldn't be state. It should be bling 0. Bling 0 dot error equals an API error also. I think that's right. I think that's what it's about. Hey, and it worked. That is, so basically we declared the store, we set the dependency, and then we overwrote what the client was actually supposed to be doing at that time, which is fetch all projects. Cool. So how do I know though it's not using, do I just trust that it's using the right place? Like, that it's using, I guess it doesn't matter if I overwrote it, like if it's actually using the test values or it's not using the test values. Cool. And it actually printed off this API error also. Okay. I think this makes sense. I need to take a break real quick. I need to stand up, get my stand hour. I will be right back. So feel free to hang out for like 2 minutes and I'll BRB. All right, I'm back. I say as I continue to put my jacket on. Cool. So we have these 2 tests written, which are great. So I guess we can start working on trying to get the projects seen. The question really is though, I feel like we're starting to get to a point where like we got to start breaking down the app a little bit more outside of this app view. So inside the app, this like list, maybe that's not its own view. I think that's fine to not be its own view for right now. So let's just keep that in the project app view. Like I have it, app views, I think, whatever it's called. So we'll keep that like it is. And we'll grab the projects and we'll iterate through them. I still don't think the project ID, project, needs to be nil. I think that can be an ID no matter what. We'll import dependencies here. I don't know if it's going to be able to import dependencies because WebKit doesn't have any dependencies, so let's get those in. Copy, paste, cool. All right, so that should be able to get the dependencies value in. Let's grab, hold on. Oh, there's no music. Why? Or is there music and it's just slow? I definitely don't hear music. Do y'all even hear me? That is the question. I'm guessing you can, but I do not know. Well, it says music's coming through. I don't know why my headphones wouldn't be playing music then. I don't... Sorry, the dog wants in. When the dog wants in, you do it. Let's... sound. No, it's still not going through my headphones. Sorry, one sec. I like music and I don't understand why it's not going through. There we go. All right. Cool. I was like, I don't get it. I like music to work too. It makes me happy. All right. So we have these dependencies in here. We should grab a... Like, this is the whole point of using a dependency is that you can do this. Our UUID does not conform to equatable, but it totally should. But I only need it to use this if it's nil. Can I do that? And then this no longer has to be nil, right? Like, it'll always have a UUID. And I think that's actually how this is supposed to work. Let's run my test real quick to see if the tests work. Tests were successful. That meant both the projects are equatable. And let's run the app and make sure the app works. Hey, Michaela, what's up? How's it going? Yeah. This was addressed a little bit ago. But yeah, basically I do usually stream on Twitch, but I wanted to do not Twitch today. Sweet. And we have projects coming in. Not Twitch today, but like not Twitch at all for this project. It keeps me a little bit more accountable on this project, which is nice. As well. So cool. But yeah, so we have this coming into the composable architecture. We also have some tests set up, which is kind of cool. So let's get these. Now that these tests are set up for this, I feel like I'm still haven't finished completely testing the app core things here. But yeah. Ooh, you're doing set notifications for YouTube, but you didn't get them. Weird. Yeah, YouTube's got some weird like algorithms going on. Also, I wonder if I had accidentally turned off notifications, you know what I mean? Like, I think you can say don't notify people, so I wonder if I accidentally did that. And you're doing some coffee shop work. Nice. Sounds awesome. I need to go do some coffee shop work sometime soon, just because I miss going to coffee shops. I think that would be really fun to like do again. Okay, so we have the list, and it still comes back even with this UUID. Let's make sure I can generate a project correctly, like, and it's not going to error out. This should have a UUID. Add project. It doesn't look like it errored. Let's go into here, and it said it posted, which is cool. And into the table project, generate project, and it has a UUID. The question is though, all of these, oh, those are status IDs. Ha 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 ha. No wonder they're all the same, because status IDs should all be the same. But these look like we have IDs, so that's great. Look at that. I was able to get testing in. I think I'm testing right. So let's add this also. Git add dot. Whoops. We're test on getting projects and pushing them up, and we're seeing things go into GitHub, which is cool. Let's get into, where is it? Whip apple. Sweet. All right, so we have that. We have these projects. We should probably present the projects' names inside this view. So in app view, let's, instead of this list, just doing this list here, let's do some fun things. It doesn't, I guess it would actually need to be a selection, but we don't have a selection right now. Can't we just do content? I guess not. I thought you could just put in like a data, but that's fine. Yeah. So we could just do like this. So this could be like a view store dot projects, and then the content is going to be project in project dot name, and that's upset. Cannot convert projects. I don't think it's supposed to be, but like, shouldn't, literally that initializer like said as long as it's a random access collection, but I've done some of it. Yeah, so like I'm kind of doing it step and step, like so like the first video here, I did do the server side stuff, so we actually already have the Vapor side going. We can, and I'm not too happy with all of these like routes, but we'll figure it out. I'll figure that out at some point. But yeah, I have the project model here. I have our project controller here, some status controllers and stuff like this. Yeah, like for some reason this like using the API production version, like stuff like this just wasn't working correctly. I'm guessing it's because of how I'm like specifying the endpoint. So I just need to look into that a little bit more when I want to tackle it again. Because I wanted the like API to do like so it'd be /v1/projects or /v2/projects, stuff like that. That way I can keep going. And then also if I wanted to like try different things, I could in theory like do a different like I don't know, have a different like go into a debug or like a non-production version of the project controller or something like that. I don't know. Throwing stuff around here that doesn't make sense. All right, so for some reason my list data isn't making sense. So we'll just do a for each here. The data is gonna be the view store dot projects project in text I think it's title, and let's do oh, is it really? Oh. Well, let's make these public. Weird. I still have a lot to do on the server side, like authentication and stuff like that. Like isn't in here, but it definitely should be. And like there's stuff like that like I can either scratch my head around or try to just build the app and then add it in later, which is what my idea is. Cool. So that's awesome. We have lists in here. We need to adjust where this is, but we'll figure that out, the add project button. But there are things here. Definitely can make this larger if needed. But we are getting the project names, which is super neat. So they all match from in here. I did a lot of like testing in there, but that looks great. So let's try this again. Let's do something else. So there's actually what we want to do here as well in API client or app core is when a new project is added. So successful response. We actually haven't tested for the new project being added yet. So that'll be something to do. But first let's, we're in a Z stack. We don't really need to be in a Z stack here. I try to not use Z stacks as much as possible. What we can do is dot safe area inset dot bottom. We need this. And drop into that H stack and drop that H stack like right there at the bottom. So it's always there at the bottom. So it's always stuck there at the bottom. You don't actually like have anything else, which is pretty neat, right? Like, I don't know. I found that really neat to do. So dropping into the safe area inset, you can actually put a view there, and it allows you to have this like add project right there. So it doesn't, and your generate project isn't behind it, because like before that generate project was behind. So cool. So let's commit that and just say the list is there. Git add dot show project names GP. Whoops, I probably pressed the wrong thing. Yeah, I totally did. GP. Now we've pushed it. Cool. All right, so let's go we need to test these things. I don't know where the tests go because technically this is a delegate action, so it still tests the new state itself. Well, I guess it would go in here. So let's try it. Let's go add it into these tests. Are you okay? Do you want to go outside out there? All right. 1 second. The dog wants out, so 1 sec. All right, and I'm back. So my hands are really cold for no other reason besides the fact that it's actually kind of chilly in Texas right now. Cool. So how are we going to do this now? So we need to test. So let's change these to the app core tests. App core test here. I'm going to actually X that here. We're going to put that there. So that way it's just following the exact like appearance of the new project, basically. I mean, of the reducers flow, which makes sense to me. Test, get, oops, test new project, cancel, tapped. So here we're gonna do a let's store. We're gonna still do the exact same thing here. We really shouldn't expect like anything to change when these buttons happen, to be honest. Like they should just exist. But we'll figure it out here. Because all it does is it resets the, well, let's just try this. I don't know why I'm like, let's think before we actually do it. Store dot. So we want to send new project dot cancel button tapped. Well, actually, you know what we can do is just do the whole user flow. So await store dot send dot add project button tap to open it. All right, Michaela, sounds good. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you have a good productive afternoon and good luck getting your stuff done. New project, show add project form equals true. And then after this, we actually do a bling 0 dot show add project form equals false, right? Because like it has to do that. And then it does this and then it equals false. So like that should be right. Oh, to test. What did it expect? Dot delegate. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, because the inside here, like new project. That's app core still. Inside new projects actions, I think is what it's expecting us to do. So we send new project dot cancel button, right? And then we can do await store dot receive delegate dot cancel button. And then I think we can do a bling 0 dot show add project form equals false. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So this totally makes sense to me now. All right. Because even though we send that action, when that action's sent, it also receives this delegate at the same time. I don't know if this is quite right though, because it's sending like a scoped action basically. So what else happens when the state, well, that's probably it. Okay. Let's duplicate that and say add button or success. Whoops. New project success tapped. Successful response, right? Yeah. Oh, and then here I have to do this. So bling 0 dot store that state dot title equals quote quote. What was the project that I'm using here? Let's import new project core, import new project core. What's our title? Test project. Cool. I don't even know if this is right. What I'm supposed to do? Delegate dot successful response. So really, like, we can just have nothing here. What am I not hitting here? Received an unexpected action. Oh, because it's supposed to take in a state, I guess. I thought that's what I just did. I'm so confused. Okay, hold on. We can figure this out, y'all. So, yeah, so we've received this. Oh, and then a dot create. Okay, so what is it? It's supposed to receive dot create. Oh, okay, so let's try this different way. Nope, still failed, but why? Cannot convert project to argument type that I was expecting. Okay. So create response. Is it, do I do like a dot success? Yes. Okay. Still failing. The store received one after this one. Ah, so we receive this again. And then now it's await store dot receive new prod. Oh. I think that is what it needs. Cool, and that was now a success. Wow, that's a lot. So basically, I mean, you basically are receiving every single step along the way, which is really like great. So we open the new project, which I don't even know if I need that. I guess I do, because I have to tap. Yes, because I have to tap the add new project button tapped. Then it's going to receive a new project. This is going to create the project response, which gives us this project. But I really don't do anything with that project. So that's cool though. But now it is successful and it's going through the whole steps. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's right. There we go. It's a little bit easy. It's a bit easier to read there at least, which is good. Cool. Let's commit it. New project flow tested. Whoops. I don't really know how much this is like testing it, but you know, it's better than nothing. And now I know if I change the logic, I have to go and fix all these tests, which is great. Cool. So we kind of like display the projects already. We don't really select anything, but we can display them. What do I want? Would it be cool to see? No one's watching, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But would it be cool to see like setting up a GitHub action to run these tests? I don't even know if we can run these tests in GitHub actions because I don't know. I would imagine we can. Let's do it. Let's run a GitHub action. How do I make a GitHub action again? I've done it a little bit, but not a lot of it. Okay, so a job is steps, actions, runners. All right, so we need to close this, stop tasks, stop him. Nova, because I like Nova for my text editor. Work in progress. I mean, work in public. Wow, it's really hard to distinguish WIP for work in public versus work in progress, but we'll do it. .github, right? And then we need another new folder called workflows. And then here, let's add in a test. Oh. Yeah, that doesn't work. Right click, new file. What should this workflow be called? Tests.yaml. Cool. So name. Run name. What is run name? I don't know. What does that even mean? Optional. The name for workflow runs generated from the workflow, which will appear in the list. So, workflow syntax. But what is a GitHub actor even? Oh, so that's like that's the username? So how does this actually username get gotten? So run name, that makes sense to me, but let's see, so a jobs GitHub actor, but how does that? So the name of your workflow, rock by, deploy to blank by, I would guess GitHub actor comes from like your person, like it's just whoever like did the last push, right? I don't even know if this makes sense. Yep. Okay. So on. What is our, I think there's like a pull request that I can do. On push fork. What are my different events that I can do? Events that trigger workflows. Why is this not just all together? Fine. What? That's cool. Okay. But that's not what I want. I need a pull request. So we need to do on pull request opened. And then that should be fine, I think. So you can run a workflow when a pull request has been opened or reopened. So let's do, there should be a way to say like where. Build and test Swift. Jobs. Build. Runs on macOS latest, which sometimes is not actually the latest, but we'll figure it out. Steps. Uses action / checkout at v3 name build run Swift build. Let's just get the git add action. Oh, and let's go do this. Oh. Okay, that's fine. What is going on here? Compare pull request. Show all shows. Show all projects. In a list. Cool. Introduces tests and adds a GitHub action to run tests with PRs. Create a pull request. Let's see what happens. Nothing. It's not going to build the action. Bum, bum, bum. Build action failed, but why? You have an error on line 7. I'm sure I do. I literally copied and pasted. So what is my error here? Oh, I don't have a... Let's just do this again. I just want to see what will happen if I build this. That was 2 minutes ago. I'm guessing, though, because it was just on created and not anything else, it's not actually running. Events that trigger. So can we do a pull request, types, push, open? Is there like a commit? Push? I don't need to run it on every single push. I just want to run it on like... push a commit or a tag. Push. Can I do like push PRs? If you use both the branches filter and the paths filter, will only run when both filters are satisfied. Can I do a filter for like for on, so pull request opened. And we probably also want on other things as well. You know what? What if we just do it on all pull requests? What is the edited? This isn't like my favorite thing, but push, and then is it just dispatch? Is dispatch the one that workflow dispatch? Oh, that's cool. But let's do so I could do like an input here. Anyway, it's fine. Let's try it again. Let's try it again, because the worst that happens is GitHub's gonna say, hey, you can't do this anymore. The best that happens is GitHub's gonna say, whatever. Can I run it again though? Jobs? Actions? Am I not like pushing it? Oh, I didn't push it. If I don't push it, it's not gonna know that something happened. Actions. It still failed. I have a error on line 4. Well, this is fun. I really want to get this figured out though before I go. Like, this is gonna be the last thing we do for the next for this week. So let's see, events, examples, use scripts. I don't really care. I just on workflow dispatch on. Oh, so do I do? I think I do this. So we want this to be first, it looks like. And then after push, we also want to do okay, I think that's better. Now I think it's going to be upset that I have that. Let's try this. Oops. Still failed. Why did it fail this time? On line 10. I don't understand. Do I have like something that works? I think iHog might work. Just so I can look at it again. Workflows, PR tests, jobs build on, runs on. I think this might have worked. It did not. It just said there was a failure. But why? What is my failure now? On line 9. I literally don't know what it is. Like, which tab is it? Okay, so literally I copied and pasted and there's still issues. So I don't understand. Also, I feel like GitHub should be able to tell me what these issues actually are and not just me guessing. Where's my README? Oh, shoot. Cool. I like when it just decides not to take me where I want to be. Yeah. Actions. Fetch. How does this work? Update README. Copy. Paste. Let's just do this. Tests. I don't. Sure. And then also, this should be on a push, right? And then there's a jobs build macOS checkout v3. Run. See, change directory to, well, let's just do a Swift build. Let's just see if this works, because I am getting frustrated. Which happens. Frustrations happen. Actions. You cannot tell me there's still a failure on line 7. Like, what is the failure now? Because it works like I mean, like, it worked in my other one, so like, don't. Run macOS GitHub Actions. Jobs running on now run Big Sur 11. Cool. Runs on macOS-latest. I don't understand. Maybe it's the @v3 thing. You know what? Let's actually open VS Code instead. Because I think that is also an issue. Open folder. You can't see what's on here because it's client work first. Developer. Where is it? Work in public. We're in work in public. Open. Cool. Let's go into GitHub, App Store. I mean, App Core tests. So like this doesn't make sense. It looks like it should all be working for me. No, I don't care about Docker. macOS 12 for GitHub hosted runners is now generally available. Okay, actions. Automate. Swift. I just don't understand like why this isn't working. Get started with actions. Examples. Use scripts to test and run your code, which I don't understanding this example. Next steps. Cool. Using workflows. Trigger a workflow, workflow syntax. Run name, I don't care. On label, on push, on branches. Labels, branch, page build, types. Okay. This isn't what I want anyway. Okay, so jobs. Let's see. Creating a job. So in this example, 2 jobs have been created. We have a first job. Build. Swift build. But there should be create starter work. Use a starter workflow. Where can I find starter workflows? Because you know what? I will try it. I will try my hardest to use it. New workflow. Swift. Configure. This workflow will build a Swift project and it runs tests. Great. Let's just try it. Start commit. Now, we also want to dispatch though. Workflow. Dispatch, right? That's what it's supposed to be called? Yeah. Commit changes. Cool. So now if we go to actions, here, it created Swift. No, it's failing. But why? Okay, so this looks like it actually failed. Could not find package.swift in this directory. So, or any of its parents' directories. So it looks like, well, that's completely different than what we were doing before, right? What we were getting before. I still don't understand how this is any different than the one I have in here. Let's do a uses name. So we want to run cd to whip, I think is what I want. Yeah. And then it can do that. And let's just try it again. Build action. Okay, so we know this first one's gonna fail. Like, it's fine, it can fail, right? But what about, that should also like go away, I think. This should also fail, I would believe. But oh, but why did this fail now? I have an error on line 18. I don't understand. I literally just copy and pasted from the Swift YAML. I literally said, let's copy paste this. And I added that there. That was it. That's all I did. Can we just see what's in here? Like Swift workflow dispatch, great. Runs on, right? I don't know what's wrong because like it should all match. And that, yeah. Change directory. Run cd with, and then let's this is awesome. I know the Swift one is going to fail. Like, that's fine. I'm going to cancel that one because I don't need it to run. I should not let it run. I mean, this one says it's building now, which is cool. It started. I mean, it hasn't failed, right? Complete job name build. Okay. I don't know what the difference is. Let's see what happens. Okay, so build failed, which is not fun. But why did build fail? Could not find package.swift. Well, that is completely different now. So now let's just go delete from main swift.yaml because we don't need it. Can I just delete? How? No, delete. I really shouldn't be doing this via this, but here we are. This is what we're doing. Because I decided that this was better than actually coding the app. Details. How did it... Could not find package.swift. It's literally right there. Do I even need to build it though? Can I just like run the test? Swift test -b? What does -b even mean? Probably verbose. So, you know what? I should actually try running Swift test. So let's do a cd whip. Swift test. I don't even know what it's going to test. I've never tried to do this. So let's see what happens. I don't usually test via the command line, but I would like to start. Like, not necessarily test via the command line, but I would like GitHub Actions to run here. This is kind of like a playground. Like I said, I would like to release this app, but it's more of like a playground for me also at the same time, like for TCA, dependencies and stuff like that, and trying to do more like GitHub Actions and such related. So let's hope this works. All tests passed. All tests passed. Cool. So that looks like it works. So let's do a Swift build. Build also completed. Cool. All right, let's try this again. Let's do a cd whip, and because I think that's actually all we need to do. Because I think this should be enough. Started, passed, no failure, 6 tests passed. Great. I think that is what we need. Fix. Build. Fix steps. Because, like, ultimately, I don't care if it builds right now. I really just need it to test. I know it'll build. Oh, I don't know. I guess I should let it build, but alas, we're not going to do that. And let's see, is this going to work? It's building. I do also want to create a status badge though and put that in the thing, but I want it to run. It looks like it's running tests. Fetching safe symbols. I think it's gonna get us through this, y'all. I think it found the project file this time. Oh, good, Larry. I'm glad that this is helpful. I've used them before here and there, but like, geez, I could not figure out what the YAML file syntax was, like, because I would literally copy and paste it and it was like, no, it's working, and like, no, it's not working. But yeah, I'm glad this is helpful. If you need like the repo and you want to go check out the, like how I did it, besides like just the little part on my screen, definitely feel free to check out the Notion page for this project I'm working on, and it will, it should be there. It should come up as a link, I hope, and it'll link to the GitHub repo, unless it's not gonna work this time. Cool. And they're not working. Awesome. I like that. I like when things decide not to work. Here, I'll just link to the GitHub repo myself. Copy, paste. There you go. That's a GitHub repo. Do you prefer using GitHub? Yeah, no problem. Do you prefer using GitHub Actions over something like Bitrise? No, it's not a matter of preference. Like, Bitrise is super awesome. Actually, that's what I've used Bitrise and Xcode Cloud, and now I'm trying GitHub Actions out for different projects, and they all are pretty great. I actually like Bitrise a bit better, just from a, like, I don't have to define everything in a YAML file. They have a very nice, like, GUI, but I figured let's give GitHub Actions a try. Since the project is open source, it's like free to use. I kind of want to push like what I know for GitHub Actions into the, I just kind of want to push what I know GitHub Actions does, but I think it would be easier to deploy via like Bitrise definitely than GitHub Actions right now, just because like YAML's a pain to like work on like this, but I think it's totally doable to do it through GitHub Actions. I think it'd be really neat to do the whole work through. I want to be able to do the whole workflow through GitHub Actions, just like from a testing standpoint to see if I can. But I've I've launched a few apps through Bitrise, and it was pretty easy as well. So no, I think honestly my preference is like Bitrise. They used to have a very generous like free tier also for a single developer. Once this app is in a more like working state though, I'd like to open up for like an actual like contributions and stuff. So that's like that's part of the reason for trying to use GitHub Actions so it can all work there. Oh, whoops. Let's go get the actions because I think it actually did not succeed. Are you kidding me? It didn't go through this time? Why? Why now? Symbol not found. It couldn't be loaded. Try reinstalling the bundle. Not a symbol. What? I just don't understand. I'm guessing there's something very particular to Xcode that I'm running into right now. I mean, to macOS. Maybe it's like a different version of macOS. Also, you usually don't have to deal with stuff like this, which is a pain to work with. So actually this like idea of it all being on GitHub might not be feasible for me. I could do a self-hosted runner because I have a Mac Mini that kind of just stays on forever, but I would like to just let GitHub take care of it. Run npm on Ubuntu. Where do I use? Supported. Why is it only on 12? Is there not a 13? Like macOS 13? I think this is an issue, is that like macOS 13 doesn't actually like have a... Like, it takes a really long time for GitHub to get the latest, but we'll see. As for the timing of this issue, the macOS 13 release candidate were released today along with an announcement. Thank you for your request. New macOS 12 is in release processes currently, but macOS 12 can't... Okay. That's not necessarily what I want, though. I would expect this directory and that a new would need to be created. Would be nice. November 2022. Are we still? Jeez, are you kidding me? They are so far behind. Wow. That's cool. I'm guessing that this is part of an issue that I have, is that macOS 13 isn't available yet. We end up in the same trap as previous years. While I can understand, not really, but acceptable. GitHub Action CI. I don't get why Azure are at the same level. It seems like they are using the same infrastructure. I don't care about that. Okay, well, sounds like the issue is that I can't actually run it right now. This is probably an issue with macOS versions, not an issue with this. Even though I don't think I'm doing anything that requires 13, I'm guessing there's still something though in there because I'm on a 13. So with that being said though, I guess I actually will possibly be moving on to something else. I don't know what though, so that's a fun one. macOS 13 on GitHub hosted beta, runners beta. Oh, can I do this yet? Let's try. Or is this not like running? It says it's beta. What does that even mean? Feature phase beta. No, it doesn't have a... Okay. Well, let's try it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? It fails again? It actually doesn't work because the runs on is weird. That would probably happen. I mean, I could see that happening for me. But, yeah, I have a couple that are running GitHub Actions through, like, on macOS latest. But the cool thing is that it doesn't really need any of that. Any of the latest stuff, because it's just, like, a really basic, like, action to go read through things. So let's go try again. Create status. I don't really want to call it test package though. Probably just tests would be fine. Let's see. This is going to run again. This will take a couple minutes to run. I would like to see if this is going to actually work though before I commit this to working, because then if it doesn't work, I'm going to end up deleting it from my thing or just turn the run off. But I would like it to work. Waiting for a runner to pick up this job. Still waiting for a runner to pick up this job. That just depends if it's going to work. I guess I could try something else. All right, well, I have a feeling this isn't going to work again because there's going to be like no runners to pick it up. So let's look into what would it take for me to get Xcode Cloud Mac app, I guess. Can I use an Xcode Cloud? Like, so I know I can use Xcode Cloud. I really don't want to put it in Xcode Cloud though, for no particular reason besides the fact that it's going to cost money eventually. That was also another reason. For now, like, I think this is going to go away free through December 2023. And it'll be $15 a month after that, which is meh. What about, I've used Bitrise before. I don't mind Bitrise. I'm just trying to use other things. Code Magic? That's the other one, right? But this is for, I guess, can I use it for macOS? Oh no, it runs macOS, but this is CI/CD for macOS app. I mean, Circle CI could work, I guess, as well. $6,000 build minutes per month for this. Build for macOS or on your own compute with self-hosted runners. Build better, choose the right resource size to go fast and maximize your builds, run up to 30 jobs at the same time. But I feel like this is gonna like add in a lot more work than what I want. Unavailable after October 2nd. See, look, and there's no, like, I have to have Mac OS. I mean, I guess I could try a Linux virtual machine, but like, how can I test on Linux? Swift PM is integrated in with XE Test. Running Swift test from your terminal triggers IDE. A convenient way to test on Linux is using Docker. The above command will run tests using the latest Swift Docker image utilizing. So let's try doing something else. So instead of running on test package main, because we're not really doing anything like that requires, where's Xcode? Did I close it? Yeah, so I'm not really doing anything in these core packages that really require like, oh no, that's a lie. I import SwiftUI, but why do I import SwiftUI? Is there a reason? Oh, for the with animation, which I don't even need anymore because it's a sheet. Control I. So this removes the with animation. So let's do a test Swift package on Swift package Linux GitHub. Swift packages Linux compatibility testing. As the Swift on Linux and Swift Package Manager ecosystems go, many authors of Swift packages want to enable their packages on Linux as well as Apple platforms. I don't really want to run it in Docker though. I just want to do it on the GitHub actions. Oh, this runs, it's still through Docker. Is that right? Oh no, let's try it. Again, I mean, like, what's gonna change? I mean, like, it's breaking anyway. But yeah, so that should be fine. I don't know if it'll work, but we're gonna try it. I don't quite know how to use Docker, so that's also an issue here that like it could probably easily be solved if I knew how to use Docker to test before I pushed it up. But I don't fully know how, so I don't want to like try. If you scroll down the page, you'll find that you can launch a container on your GitHub Action Runner on top of the virtual environment. Oh, that's what this does. That seems really intense to just do a Swift run. I should just, here we go. Swift continuous integration. Well, this one's still probably waiting for something. So let's just cancel that workflow because I'm pretty sure actions, general, runners, There are no runners configured. I mean, worst comes to worst, I guess I can do my own self-hosted runner, and that'll be a whole nother project. Why? GitHub Actions. Yeah, but that's not... Oh, we have to download Swift first. Interesting, which I did not do. Well, that seems silly, so it's not gonna work. This was a great little time here, y'all. I really appreciate it. I think we're gonna have to like pause while I'm trying to figure out what the best way is. Not pause. Well, I will have to pause. I will have to stop. But I think this is gonna be a longer endeavor to figure out how this works. Because GitHub's not supporting the latest. I need to figure out how to do a self-hosted runner. I don't know the last time I actually turned on my Mac Mini, and there's probably like 8,000 different updates to do. And I think we might just try... I mean, it looks like it seems pretty easy to download and extract the latest Swift version, but you know what? Let's do this real quick. And then if it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, well, we'll figure something else out. But let's just grab these. Copy, paste. What is the latest Swift? I was trying to get ready and then I was like, nah, let's try it again. Swift releases. This browser is very confused on whether we're talking about Taylor Swift or this Swift. So that's a fun one. 5.7.3. And let's just grab the URL. Copy link address. Oh, this is Docker. I don't need Docker. This is what I want. And then we need to grab this part here, this last hard GZ part. Wait, 3. Five. We'll just grab it again. I like to just copy paste. Okay, so then we can grab here, it looks like. All right, let's changes, add, download, and use Swift. I forgot to do something still. Swift build. We still need the CD whip, and I don't know why I can't just like do it once, but let's try that. CD to proper directory. Commit, yes. Probably should have done that a little bit earlier, but that's fine. Let's sync our changes and let's see what happens. It might take a little bit longer actually to make this go, but I'm down to like try it again one last time. think I'm, like I said, I don't think I'm really doing anything to, that's a lie. I totally am. I'm using the date fields. Let's see what happens. I think I am using like Mac specific stuff, which is totally fine. Like if this fails, I'll have to look into different CI/CD, but I'm going to be done after this when it fails, because I'm pretty sure it will. Yeah, like the issue is that like the GitHub Actions would be really cool, but it's not gonna work. Yeah, it already failed because wget is not found. Yeah, I can't do that. All right, so with that being said though, this was a good try, y'all. I'm gonna look into how I can do this. For now, we're gonna like delete and remove this just completely from here. I would love to figure out how to get this at some point. Like how to do CI/CD with testing and such, like with a PR change via GitHub Action, via something. So like Bitraise was mentioned, Apple Xcode Cloud was mentioned by me. I might do that a little bit off stream and then just do a summary at the beginning. But with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, hit the like button, follow button, support me with Buy Me a Coffee if you want to. It's not working, but there should be a link somewhere. That kind of thing. If you enjoyed what you're watching and if you got anything of value out of it, definitely appreciate a share, follow, subscribe, all those good things. And I will catch you in the next one. Have a good weekend, Larry, and everyone else who's watching, and I will see y'all later.